Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're going over a bunch of the OCG deck lists that have been topping in the past week or so. It's a really awesome thing that they're doing on YG Organization. Road to the King, they do their updates when they can. I'm sure it's a lot of work to try and compile all these deck lists. And so while they don't have it, even more so why it's awesome that some of the guys from YG Organization have actually been putting together these weekly or bi-weekly or bi-monthly lists of just topping deck lists that we get an idea of what's going on in the OCG, because I know I personally have struggled to find certain things I've been looking for to get a little extra information, a little head start on certain deck building and stuff, and this deck goes a long way. So today we're going to scan through what we see here in the OCG and just talk about what we're seeing, talk about what's going on. You guys know I'm mostly interested in like the rogue stuff. The meta stuff probably hasn't changed that much. Yeah, special thanks to Lundrity here. But let's get into it. Let's just start off here. Obviously, you start with Snake Eye. This is one of the actual really interesting things, at least over the last week, which is a smaller sample size for sure. But 18 topping deck lists is still decent. But anyway, the format has been taken over by pure Snake Eye. It has become the most represented deck in the last week. That's pretty big because it was Fire King Snake Eye for like the last month plus, if not longer. I haven't even been keeping track of exactly how long it's been, but it's been the number one deck for a while now. And so to see pure Snake Eye finally jump up and overtake it is very interesting. The first list here, kind of like classic Snake Eye, nothing too crazy. Honestly, yeah, this is like super vanilla list here. The super simple breakdown. Every single player in the OCGs just seems to love playing as many of these I don't want to lose to Droll or Max C cards as possible, which is hilarious to me. And then when I saw this, I took a quick look earlier. This is what I saw even more that I thought was more interesting. So these lists, almost all the other lists here, aside from that exact first list, are on this guy. This new guy. He's an extender. It's like if he battles an opponent's monster, he can like put himself and that opponent's monster into the spell and trap zones, and then it's something like if he's in the spell and trap zone, he can like summon him. He has a way to like summon himself out, basically, which is cool. He's a cool extender. He's a big body. I think he might help them push for damage, or in the pure Snake Eye list specifically, sometimes maybe even get an extra level 8 body to do your synchro lines for Barone and whatnot. So that's cool. That card's been all over the place. Bonfire showing up here as well. That first list was not on Bonfire, maybe to just try and mitigate the losses to Droll, because this is one of the cards that you just lose to Droll on a little harder. But everything else here is somewhat standard. He's not on the synchro list. He is choosing to go into the heavy link base list, but still cool to see. Alright, scrolling through the rest of these, I don't think too many of these were all that different. A lot of these lists just end up being very similar. So I don't want to spend too much time on this deck that's kind of been doing the same thing for a little bit. Let's get all the way to the bottom here. Then you have Fire King Snake Eye. I don't think too much has changed here. It's just I think people have been learning that regular Snake Eye has just been a little bit better here. I mean, obviously there are some advantages. I think this version may have a slightly higher ceiling and stuff like Kieran being able to dodge stuff, so it has a little bit of outplay potential. But I think the overarching thing is just that it has a little more room for defensive. Regular Snake Eye has a little more room for defensive cards because you don't have to play the Fire King package, which is, what are we looking at here? It's 6 monsters plus at least the 2 spells, but he's playing 2 field spells, so and the popping card. So you're looking at a 10 card package here. Which you can cut down a little bit on the Snake Eye stuff, but I still think you're going to cut down some of the amount of defensive cards you're going to be able to play overall. So there's that. It might lose a little harder to Droll because you can't resolve Ponix, you can't resolve Fire King Island. So there's a couple different things going on there, but still performing well. I mean, 13 to 18 is not like a huge decimation. From there, you move to Voiceless Voice. I don't think too much is different. The last time we looked at this, like a week or so ago, we already saw that most of these decks were playing like the one-off new card. That's pretty cool. Can help extend your plays. It's a good recovery card. It's a good card. And then this deck's just doing what it does. I think the biggest thing here, this deck doesn't lose too hard to Max C. And that's always going to be like maybe the single strongest thing about a deck in the OCG is how well it plays into Max C. This is a huge development, in my opinion. Tenpai, almost jumping up. Well, this is what? This is nine voiceless voices. Tenpai jumps up with 7 topping deck lists in a week. This deck's crazy. Now you're going to see a bunch of different deck lists here. Basically the biggest thing we've seen is that they're transitioning further away from board breakers to play more hand traps. Probably mostly because Snake Eye, if you let them establish, like get fully established turn 1, it's very hard to beat them because of how much follow-up they have. So even if you break the board, if you don't kill them on the spot, they're still going to give you a run next turn. And that's really tough to deal with. So what we're seeing is a few more hand traps. This list right here is already on, 11 hand traps, and still some board breakers mixed in there. I cannot fathom how many non-engine cards they're able to play in this list. I mean, look at this. 2, 3, 8, 11 hand traps, like we said. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 23 non-engine slots, basically. And then you have a bunch of 1-card OTKs, is kind of the gist I get here. You just need to open the way with all your hand traps, make their boards weak, board breakers clear the board, and then just make a Tenpai OTK and walk into their face. It's honestly crazy. And also, even in the side here, you can't even see it here. Look at that. Look at this heat wave in the side just to try and get your opponent to just not be able to play. And just say, you know what? I'll go third. And give you the chance to just go third, and then OTK is crazy. We could go further into this. It looks like there's some super poly running around, of course. There's some super poly, and then they change up their ratios and hand traps depending on what each individual player likes. But honestly, this is a pretty big development. I mean, this is the first hard going second deck I've seen actually get this much representation in top cuts in a while. It's not huge, but what was the last one? Mikanko maybe, and I don't even know if it was on this level. So we'll see. Definitely a deck to keep an eye out for. I actually thought this engine would most likely see some sort of splash ability with just other generic, your other generic dragon cards, and become just the newest version of Dragon Link that just has a little extra oomph going second. But no, it looks like it's all in on going second, and that's pretty interesting for sure. Rescue Ace actually falling down. I mean, Rescue Ace being outperformed by Tenpai Dragon right now is crazy, but I think part of it is this deck just naturally has to play the bricks. That's definitely a big part of it. I mean, look at this. In the OCG, they love this trap. Is that Reinforce, I think? They love this trap. Nobody in the OCG nobody in the TCG wants to play this trap because they think it's terrible and why add another brick? Deck's still fine, but again, look at the defensive slots in here. It's just less than every other deck. I mean, you're on 43 cards here, and this guy's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is okay. It's not terrible, but to be fair, 2 of those are called, so it's not even it's a protective card more than it is a go after your opponent type card. So it's just way less, especially when we're talking about Tenpai with over 20 slots, and we're talking about Snake Eye having at least 15 slots, and Fire King Snake Eye, we said has less, but still has more than them, so it just makes it hard. I do still like their game plan, though. I think if you streamline it, and I think if you're a good player, you can do well with it, but it's definitely a little bit outclassed right now. And then we get to freaking Salamangrates, man. 4 different topping Salamangrates is honestly crazy. I did not expect this deck to be doing this well. Also in the corner here, you have Code of Soul, so they're playing that guy as well. Cool stuff. Weird development. I think when I looked earlier, all 4 of these deck lists for Salamangrate all are playing Lady Debug, which is very strange to me because those are definitely it's just a card that really gets punished by early interruption to potentially even just cut you off of using any other Salamangrates, which is strange. But I guess some of them want to be able to do some stuff without Salamangrate of Fire is not always the best. Debug's a little bit better. Maybe they just like Debug because you can search Code of Soul with it, right? So it has that extra flexibility that he doesn't have. The Firelock doesn't seem to matter because the only non-fire you play is Cyber's Wicked, but maybe that's crucial enough for the combo because it can search your Weasel, which is pretty cool actually. I had seen some of those combos, but Very interesting for sure. Just checking out the rest of these. Yeah, Lady Debug, 2 Salamangreat of Fire. Lady Debug, 2 Salamangreat of Fire. I mean, they're all on like the same list. How does this even happen? What are they all in like a group chat, like building these lists together? It's weird, but and then this, we've seen this as well, playing the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist. I don't remember which one is this, Horse or something like that. But yeah, the Wicked. I'm curious. I need to look more into the Wicked combo, exactly how it works. But that is cool because it does just get Weasel out of the deck for free. You just obviously can't be fire locked by Salamangreat of Fire too early. Because I had seen like more people messing around with like Flame Buffalo in the TCG because they just thought that was a better card. If I'm gonna get drolled, which is a little more prevalent in the TCG to be fair, I'd rather do it after I'm like ideally resolving Buffalo to draw 2 and Balinks to get the field spell. So at least I'm like getting a lot of stuff started and potentially just finding non-engine. Even if I get drolled there, I can still hit somebody with non-engine and go from there. And then Melodious, you guys know right now this is probably like the deck I'm eyeing up the most at this point. Going forward is Melodious. 4 tops. I'm a little bit scared that it's performing a little better than I want it to in the OCG because I think like some people are going to be like, oh, this deck's real. And a few more people than I want are going to check it out. But the lists are cool. This looks like a very similar list to something I'm playing. I think I was on like an extra Sonata and a Cannon. But other than that, or Kanan. Other than that, it looks like almost exactly like what I want to play, aside from cutting the extravagances. I really don't want extravagance. I would probably just max prosperity out. For the TCG, I just think it's better overall. I don't know. This card is terrifying to me because I'm just like terrified of just like, if you banish any 3 of like the Link, the Baka, or the Atoil, it really hurts. It really cripples the strategy. So I don't like extravagance here. I get it. They only have 1 prosperity, so they have to like supplement it with something. But I will not be doing that in the TCG. I can tell you right now. Also, they only have 1 Herald of Orange Light, so that also makes our version a little bit better as well. It's cool. I really like it. This person's not maining Elegy, which is awesome because I talked about in my video last week that I don't understand why every player was on Elegy. Here it is here. Like these 3 are all bricks. They're just all bricks, and I'm like, I don't want to play that many bricks. All Elegy offers you is like card destruction protection for your board. That is it. And like a little buff, like 300 attack. It's not enough. It's not enough for me to be willing to play the card. But still, I mean, pretty basic. I mean, because of the locks that the pure version has, you don't really have as much wiggle room here. And then here again, you see Elegy. Yeah. Why are they all on Elegy, man? It's crazy. I mean, I get it, right? Like Fire King's running around and they like to destroy stuff, so it does make it harder for them to play into your board, but dang, man. Dang. And then this person, not too many players have I seen do this either, play these one-off extra deck monsters in, she's like Bloom, and then this one is this like Bloom Harmonist and Bloom Diva? I can't even remember what their names are. Whatever. But they're cool cards. One of them helps you OTK, and the other one is like really annoying to out for certain decks, so they're cool. The 4 tops, it's nothing crazy. I'm not too worried about it, but like I don't want it to shoot up that much. But I think the deck's cool. I think it's pretty good. Flu, it's classic Flu stuff, right? You got a bunch of pots. You got a bunch of shiftery cards, right? 2 shifters, 3 D-fishers. That's crazy. 3 D-fishers in the main. But that's the thing is like playing into boards somewhat is like, go ahead and try to play now when I activate this into your board. You either have to answer this right now, or you're going to like auto lose the grind, because as you try to play, you're blinking stuff off, you're quick synchroing, whatever, you're losing all your cards. So I get it, but you guys know where I kind of stand on this. I'm kind of an outlier here. I believe that Ritual Beast is just like higher ceiling Fluwanderies right now. I really do, but we'll see. And lo and behold, look at this. Literally the exact amount of tops in the OCG right now. I really do think Ritual Beast, I think it's a better deck. I just think that the skill gap, like, people like Flu because it's so simple and easy to play. It's not easy. You still have to know some stuff. It's not, but like relative to Ritual Beast, I think it's much easier to play. We're gonna have the extra E-Telly, so we're gonna have 3 E-Telly, not just 2. There we have 3 shifter, not just 2. So these decks are a tad bit better in our version than they are theirs. And I just think it's higher ceiling. I just think it's harder to play. So some people would rather just keep it simple with flu, and I get that. But yeah, I definitely think this deck has legs, as you can see. I mean, these lists aren't too crazy to me. Um, Fitting more space for other extra monsters than I actually expected, which is interesting. But yeah, 3 different tops is pretty nice. Oh, this guy too, like maining D Fisher. Again, so yeah, D Fisher, pretty powerful. Labyrinth has fallen so far off, and I don't even think they lost anything. I think like these other decks just came up, and people are just playing the other decks now. It's really weird. I still think the deck is solid. I don't know if just like nobody's playing it, or maybe it just has a big struggle with like Snake Eye and Snake Eye Fire King matchup wise, and so running into those is just too much to overcome in these tournaments. But yeah, man, that's tough, man. Labyrinth is struggling right now. This was another cool thing out of this for the Melodious stuff. It basically looks like a new cool pendulum engine to be able to use in almost any pendulum deck, because if you look here, you do not even have to play a brick for the engine, but 3 a couplet and 3 of the other girl. So if you just like normal summon her, she gets you couplet. Couplet gets you the search spell, and then you're able to basically get scales beyond the pendulum to search you another monster. And I believe is it an extra body too? Do you end up with another extra body? Either way, you have beyond the pendulum, opening up 2 columns. You have and you would have already searched into your other engine, which would be whatever your Supreme King engine card would be, or you could play it with a different one. You could search Harmonizing Magician or something like that. It's cool, honestly. It looks like a pretty cool pendulum engine. You search with it, so it still plays in a droll, but like it's a pretty good engine that like it takes 1 card to kind of get pretty set up. So that's pretty cool. That's exactly what pendulums are looking for. It's fine, but like this list too, like can't fit that many non-engine when you do this. It's tough. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's not terrible, but it doesn't feel like enough for a Snake Eye. And then a bunch of... Oh, sorry. I almost skipped Infernoids. Infernoids, you guys know how I feel about this, too. I don't love the 60-card lists. I mean, I get it. We don't have grass, so how can I? But still, man, like, playing all these extra cards that feel, like, so unnecessary just for the sole purpose of maybe drawing a 2 of in a 60-card list to, like, really pop off just seems crazy to me. It just seems like so short-sighted, right? Like, you're playing for the exciting, awesome... potential payoff that like just doesn't happen nearly consistently enough. Then you have a couple one-off lists, a big 60 card, Lightsworn. What is this? This is Lightsworn, Snake Eye, super heavy. That's what we're looking at here. That's insane. Centurion here. I saw this before too. 100 Apple Dragon. Such a cool card here, giving you just potentially 2 level 2 bodies, level 2 tuner bodies specifically, to allow you to make 10s more consistently in the list. Now, you're not really searching this card is the one problem, so it's just kind of like a card you have to hard draw, but to be honest, Centurion does seem like one of those decks where like you're usually just using like your main 5 extra deck monsters, and then outside of that it's all utility, so they had room to just squeeze in any 10s they really wanted to. So you're seeing that here, Cheng Ying, Barone, Dissipator, Chaos Angel, and even this 8 guy is pretty interesting too. But cool. That's a cool little development there. Kind of surprised this deck isn't doing a little bit better with the new stuff, but it is still early. You see a Reptile Ogdoadic list. This is like the same exact list I was playing before in the TCG that I did a profile on. Very similar. No Rika, though. Honestly surprised that there's like no Rika on this breakdown. Here's a big-ass branded Despia list. Cool. Yubel was doing way better last time we looked into it. Not that it's bad, but, only 1 here in the last week. Kind of what we're expecting, You got your Unchained engine, you got some board breakers, you got some hand traps. Yep, it works. Gets the job done. Chimera. It's basic. It's Chimera. Pretty boring. Memento is an interesting one, though. This is cool. So they can make Chaos Angel pretty easily because they have, like, every level, and they don't have tuners, but so you can still make this. The new fusion allowing you to basically make this guy as well, the Chimera. And then the fusion's just crazy. I still would like to see like some other win condition for them, because it feels like they just have like their main deck boss monster, and then other than that they just like do some stuff. But it doesn't feel like they have like a real payoff. But listen, the engine's better now. The engine's definitely better now with the new fusion cards. They just need one more good wave in the next set, and when we'll be there. Synchron stuff, like no flex spots in this list, but it's definitely scary if you go second. Orcus Snake Eye, not going to pay too much attention to that. And then just a good old-fashioned Tri-Brigade Sprite. This deck still every once in a while you'll see one sneak around. But very, very cool. Very cool stuff. A lot of rogue stuff. A lot of fun rogue, and that's what I love so much about the OCG. And I wonder if somebody could like do something like this for the TCG. Is just do their best to just absolutely compile as many like TCG topping lists as absolutely possible, so that way we can put it all in one place and make it way more accessible. That would be so cool to see. But anyway, that's it for today, guys. Just going through it all. Let me know your thoughts down below on what's going on in the OCG. What are you excited for here? What caught your eye as something interesting that you might want to try out either now or maybe if it's a time-sensitive thing when it comes out. And yeah, I'm out of here for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Subscribe to the channel for more, and shout out to YG Organization for putting this type of content together. It's just so good. But I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.